Hi. Uh, Before I get too far, I'm going to warn you there's a very good chance that my children, at least one of them, are going to come tearing down from right there underneath that butterfly where the stairway my house comes in. They're upstairs right now. They don't know that I'm recording anything, so they may run down. So it's been a very exciting couple of weeks for me. My family just returned from Canso, Nova Scotia, where we saw my stepdaughter Sierra graduate high school. We're very proud of her. She took home the Governor General's Award and she got a big scholarship for Acadia University, so that was exciting. And that wasn't the only grad excitement, though, for me, because I was the guest speaker at my high school for the graduating class of 2015 last week. So I have been getting a lot of really good feedback about my speech, and I've been told that people are wishing that it was recorded. I don't know if it was or not. And also that I just inspired some people. So I thought what I would do is record my speech and put it here on my blog so that people can get inspired and rewind me, which is a weird thing to think about, but anyway, apparently I resonated with some people. Also, I'm getting a little bit of coffee here, and I'm pouring it into one of the gifts that the graduating class gave me of this beautiful Prince Edward Island pottery. Isn't that gorgeous? It is. Okay. I'm going to read it just as I did, although I had some more little nuances on the evening of, which I will not get into this time, because you're not a live audience. Well, you're live, but you're not standing in front of me. It is a true honor to be standing here addressing you, the class of 2015. I stood at this very podium on my own graduation night as a salutatorian for the class of 1997. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, but I believe it was before most of you were born. And for me, it was literally half a lifetime ago. Apparently, in these past 18 years, I've managed to do enough interesting things to be invited back here to share some words of wisdom with you. And this is a task I've not taken lightly. I want to first elaborate on my background a little bit so you'll know exactly where it is I'm coming from. I've always known I wanted to be a writer. There was never another option for me. I knew this by the time I was in grade 4. Oftentimes when I'm speaking to classes of children, one of them will ask me, what would you be if you weren't a writer? And my answer is always the same. There was just never anything else. There was no other dream for me. That's what I wanted to be. So as I grew older, I kept writing, and I loved it. My creative writing teacher at Souris High School, Mr. Hugh McDonald, told me towards the end of my own high school career that, he said, Jamie, you have to find a way to earn a living as a writer. You have to write. And that made a really huge impression on me, and he may have said that to everyone, but I don't think that he did. I think that he saw something in me, and I never forgot his words. Over the years, I would take those words and I would roll them around in my head, and I would savor their sweetness like hard candy while I worked as a bartender, a waitress, and a home hardware cashier. But when I was your age, there was no internet. Back in my day, at least not an internet that was widely accessible, and there was certainly no social media. The only kind of writing I figured I could do would be journalism, and that really didn't inspire me all that much. So I went to Holland College to study entrepreneurship for a year. By the end of that year, being 18, I still wasn't any further ahead in knowing what I wanted to do with my life. So I thought, I'll go to UPEI. And I did what most students do who go to university without a clear plan, and I took some English classes and psychology classes and sociology classes and anthropology classes and didn't really get very far. I studied a bunch of random stuff. I decided that I was kind of racking up enough debt that I needed to kind of start working, and I wasn't really going in a direction where I felt I wanted to go. So I went to Compu College. I learned how to be a very good administrative assistant, and I also found a husband there, and he made a man out of me. That's where I became a man from meeting Jason Mann. Anyway, that's where the crowd laughed at that part. So if you're laughing now, collectively, that's what happened that evening. I enjoyed being an office manager, but I really wasn't all that fulfilled. I was tired of bouncing from job to job, filling maternity leave positions, and having to leave these jobs and people I really loved whenever the women were ready to come back to their job. So while I was pregnant myself, I decided to use the time off as an opportunity to figure out a way where I could earn an income from home, because I couldn't imagine leaving the baby in daycare. I was going to have to care for that baby, but in order for me to do that, I was going to need to earn a living. So I hadn't quite figured out how I was going to do that when I got a phone call from a real estate agent who had worked in one of the real estate offices that I had worked in. And he knew I was on maternity leave, and he asked if I would do his Christmas card mail-outs from home. So a light bulb moment for me when I realized this is what I can do. I can do exactly what I've been doing at Remax and at every other office I worked at, but I could do it from home for multiple business people. So by this time, there was an internet. Mind you, I only had dial-up. And again, you people are too young to know the pain of dial-up internet. Anyway, I was in the right place at the right time, and I started my own virtual assistance company. My business was called Man-Made Time, M-A-N-N, and I worked as an office manager from my own home in rural PEI, doing all kinds of administrative tasks for clients around the world. My business took off right away, and I eventually had a team of 18 other virtual assistants from around North America working with me. But managing a big operation like that was becoming stressful, as I had a growing family of my own. My second child came along at the same time that I was being flooded with business. I knew I needed to get smaller. I also noticed a trend where I was being hired more and more to write content. I was creating a little niche for myself among internet marketers as being a copywriter for the web. And then it dawned on me. And those words of Mr. McDonald rang loud and clear in my head. I did have to be a writer, and I could make a living as a writer without leaving my beloved Prince Edward Island. I just had to make my own opportunity. Man-Made Copy was born from the bones of Man-Made Time, and I was writing web content for people all around the world, and I loved it. My ultimate plan, though, was to write my own stuff on the side while I earned a living writing for other people full-time. In 2010, I met an editor by the name of Christine Gordon-Manley. We got on very well and started our own communications firm called Jaime Lee Mann Media, which has been doing very well for the past 5 years. This week alone, well, this was last week, but it's not much different from this week, I've written for clients in Australia, Sweden, South Carolina, and New York City. I write everything from cookbooks to Twitter updates. I've published 2 novels of my own, with a third to come this fall, and a picture book that's hopefully going to be released by Christmas. I have created a pretty cool home-based career for myself, and I'm happy every single day. A lot of people say to me, oh, you're so lucky to work from home, and you're so lucky to do what you love, and you're so lucky to be so passionate about what you do and have such variety, you're so lucky. And I hate it when people say that. Luck did not have anything to do with it. Luck was not there when I was pulling all-nighters and staying up with a brand new baby and a toddler trying to figure out how I was going to manage it all. It was hard work, more sleepless nights than anyone can imagine, and I wasn't any more lucky than anyone else is. So while you're sitting there dreaming about your own future, know that if you can't find a spot for yourself in this world, there's no rule saying that you can't carve your own. While we're on this planet, we're each promised the same amount of tomorrows, and I think we all know we are promised none. So if I can say one thing that you would hold on to and take with you for the rest of your lives, let it be that it is never too late to follow your dream. You always have your whole future ahead of you, no matter how old you are. As long as you're alive, you do have the rest of your life to look forward to. Live the life you want to live. Don't waste a single day living someone else's. There are many things in this world we have no control over and we get no say in, but we do get the chance to decide how we're going to spend the 1,440 minutes. Spend yours creating the future you want, or complaining about the decisions you've made and all the things you don't have. The choice is yours, and I can tell you which of these things is going to make you the happier person. Decide now what your own personal measure of success is going to be and make goals for how you're going to get there. For me, success has nothing to do with what kind of car I drive, how much money's in my bank account. I consider myself successful because I'm content in my life and comfortable in my skin. And I wish the same feeling of contentment for each and every person watching this and listening to these words. Have a goal. You might not know exactly what you want to do with your life, but have some sort of a goal. Two of you might have the same goal, but you might have to take different paths to get there. It doesn't even matter if you get there. Just simply having something to strive for will make the path worth taking. Simply having something you're working towards will, even when you're going uphill and you sprain your ankle and you fall down the hill and you get bit by a snake and then you have to start all over again, at least you have somewhere to go and you have something to work towards. I never let go of my dream and my goal of being a writer. In my university and college days, when I was scrubbing the toilets in the men's room before the end of a waitressing shift, or when I was prepping cold cuts for the subway lunch rush, I was able to smile because I knew where I was heading eventually. And I knew that everything I would experience in my life would become fodder whenever I became a writer anyway. I took a twisty path and I racked up so much student debt I may never see the end of it. But I got here. I kept myself focused on my dream and I followed it. And there is no reason why you can't do the same. You can't go back and change the beginning of your story, but every day you have a chance to alter the ending. And this applies to all of you, whether you're graduating from high school or not. And so that was it. Enjoy. I hope you learned something useful.